has created mysteries in human being, in the leaves, in the animals, and all that. I bow to a lot of things by the white men because they use experimentation to actually agree with God's creation. It is not as if that they made it. God created all those things, but they use experiments, they use machines and all that to come to terms with what God has created. And our own inability to go as sophisticated as the white men tended to brand us as coming second to them. But we are not second. Our real early DBS
were just as sophisticated.
They travel faster than an aeroplane. I have had the experience of an animal they call it chapa that travels with the speed of light, and they use it to prepare you to travel. That's why they say we disappear. And I know how it is done. I was taught by a traditional, what do you call it? The traditional doctor. Because when they want to, they say herbalist, fortune teller, but in their own case, they say medical doctor. It is not right. You see, I said that because if you actually want to see, let me tell you, there is this institution that existed in a number of communities before the others arrived. And they call it DIM. D-I-M. And DIM was like a governor in many communities. And he had his own ministers. Dinta was the minister of hunting. Dioch was the minister of palm wine and environment. Dimba was minister of wrestling, or call it sports. DG was the minister of agriculture. So it's DDD and all that. And those who held those positions last were called Umudim. It is at Neu, Umudim. It is at Tob, Umudim. It has image of Dim Oilama. It's Amampo, Ohebe Dim, on your way to Nsuka. And all the Dims you have, I researched on it personally, and I published a work in it. My dear brother, I need to tell you that the Igbo culture is so rich, so philosophical, so sophisticated, that the Igbos are always in a hurry. The Yoruba is more conservative. As a result of which we worship them. The Yoruba culture is not deeper than that of the Igbo. But the Yorubas know where it is, left it and read what they read. They come back to it, respect it as it were. If you don't want to follow them, you know that they are there. But in our own place, they become too versatile, thinking and at times trying to challenge the authority which God endowed. It's unfortunate and it's uncalled for. Many of us who spend time to unravel these issues, sometimes we call them mysteries. You disappear by the animal we call Ichapa. And when that animal wants to die, it kills other animals, goes below them, and stays there to die. The carcass is fed by a maggot. And this maggot acquires this power. The traditional doctors you call DBA will now use, there's something they use, and those maggots won't disappear. You collect them. One particular traditional doctor showed it in a transparent container to me. That is the maggot you use. If you want to say number 5 Holloway Street, London, you are there in the next second. If you doubt it, I'll take you to them. They will do that, provided you keep the tenants. As soon as the whole thing is prepared, you will be taught the password. If you want to say Nume as your password, each time you want to do that, you rekindle the spirit of it. And if you say Nume, say where you are going. Maybe if you are going to Nume again, you say Nume, you land at a place. If you forget to say where you're going to Nume, to land you at the village square in Nume. If you forget to say where you are going, it can throw you into Atlantic Ocean and they are gone and gone forever. In our culture, the result is very, is rich, is expansive, means a lot. It's universalistic. At times there are areas where it becomes particularistic. But for any nation to grow, that nation must have spent a lot of research, energy, to find out all their cultural peculiarities, molding same for national development. Do you know that what we have is even enough. But don't let people go to the moon. Let people go to tourism development can bring the whole world here. There is something we call Mbume Ailobara. It is at Banito, far away in our farm. I don't know whether it is rainbow or not, but it is a color-changing rock. Nobody has been able to define why the rock changes color. And these things, God has created many things that are quite spectacular. There is a tree they call Ananebe Okoshishi. That tree, they say, breathes like a human being. And it is from there that you bring the stick you call Oho at. And that tree stands on purity. And anything that is not pure that comes across it dies. And that's what people use to kill anybody, because there is hardly any person that has not insulted another, that has not been angry and all that. So they call it Ohat. Some people say it is somewhere at Afa, Opatu and Egede and all that. But we are saying these things, if it were to be in a white man's location, they would have struggled to take it to the lab.
Yes, to research and
That's
find
the area
where
we are failing.
But is it because we are afraid of it, of encountering our own culture, our own science, our own spirituality, because we have the colonialism has sort of, and the Christian, something
it's just
has kept us in a
no. It's just
mindset.
a lack of organized learning process. That is simply that. It's not a matter of mysticism or that. Our people actually engage in learning by doing. There are things we refer to as the indigenous Igbo knowledge systems. And this is one of them, our way of planting. Remember that we contributed something all over the world that has become superior than any other culture. And that is learning by doing.
Yes.
Israel,
the apprenticeship,
the whole world is trying to learn it. Nobody taught it to the Igbo land. During farming activities, you watch your father farming. You pick your own hoe and fall in line and begin to do whatever he does. That is what they did for those traders, for those tradesmen, for all kinds of things. That is the learning process. But ours had not been institutionalized, where you take things to the lab and what have you. Otherwise, the Igbos were very close to organize the civilization.